Hello and welcome to a tutorial on how to set up the Digitakt. This will be a part of a series that I will keep on creating for you to learn and for me to learn as well how the Digitakt works and how to use it and how to explore music with it. So I hope if you have any questions or anything at all, ask in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. And with no further ado, let's start by just look at the files we need before we start it up even. So here's the beautiful beast. And if we go into support, I will link the link in the description so you can just press it, but make sure it's the latest one. So we have the Digitakt OS 1.2 and it was released July, I think. And we can just download it. It's for all the Digitakt, so it doesn't, this is the only file you need. But to transfer this file, we need Electron Transfer. And that's a program where you can transfer the OS upgrades and also samples. So it's really important to have. So make sure you download the right one. It's one for Mac, it's one for Windows. So I'm gonna download the one for Windows. And then we also actually need one more file, and that's Overbridge. Overbridge is a tool to integrate the Digitakt in your digital audio workstation, and it's really nice to be able to merge it and seamlessly work with your Digitakt together with other VSTs, and yeah, the possibilities are endless, and it's much more fun, I believe, to work with the Digitakt together with Overbridge. So let's download that, one for Windows, one for Mac. Once it's downloaded, we have to extract the files. So we can start by extracting the OS. And you see we get a 6 file. This is the file that upgrades it. But to be able to transfer over it, we also need the transfer. So we extract that one. And it's just a simple installer. So just follow the instructions, double click this, and it will install it on your computer. And once you have installed it, you can just search for Electron Transfer. And here you could connect. So when you connect, you need to select the Digitakt for MIDI in and MIDI out, and then you connect. If you have a problem with this, it might be because you have another program running on your computer that have connected to the Digitakt, so they're fighting for the connection. So make sure everything else is closed and just the transfer program is open. And here you see you can drop WAV, IF, ZIP and 6 files. So we're gonna drop the 6 file here. But before we do it, we need to change something on the Digitakt. So I hope you can see. What you need to do is to go into this cogwheel. That's the main menu. And you want to scroll all the way down to something called System. You can press yes to enter that. And here we have the USB config, the OS upgrade, the format plus drive and storage. So we need to press OS upgrade. And now it says OS upgrade waiting for sysx. So the only thing we need to do now is to drag over the 6 file and drop it. And once it's loaded, we just need to confirm to upgrade the OS. And if you saw a small number down here, said 1.20A, and that's the right one. So what we need to do now is to load some samples into it. So we can connect to it again, now when it's updated. And we connect. And we can go to Explore up here, and we can see we have different folders in here. So here's my computer, the blue one, and the orange one is the Digitakt. So if I open samples, I have already loaded some samples in here, but for demonstration I'm gonna load one. So I got my own samples here. Which I created with the flow machine, but more on that later. So the thing we need to do is to just press this plus button here to create a new folder, called it tut for tutorial, and we can just drag and drop, and you can see they start loading in. And you can also drag and drop folders, subfolders, and it will create the whole tree of subfolders. So it's really, really simple. And once everything is loaded, we can actually turn off transfer, shut it down. We can turn off our samples, and we can go back because we still have one program we need to install. So that's Electron Overbridge. If we extract Electron Overbridge, you get the same installer like the transfer, so just install it. And we can open Overbridge, and here you can see we have connected the Digitakt, it's the OS. So now we need to actually connect it inside Ableton. So to do it, we can just shut down everything, we're updated, we have our samples there, and we open Ableton. Once we're in Ableton, we can just load the Overbridge plugin, because when you install it, you should be able to install plugins for different machines in the Electron series. So choose the machine you got, in this case Digitakt, and make sure you search that VST folder with the Digitakt plugin. And once you have it, you can just drag and drop it. And as well, if it doesn't connect here and doesn't find your Electron, try and restart it, restart the program, and also make sure no other program is running in the background. So, what can we do? Well, the first thing we need to do is to set it up. So, I'm gonna rename this and call it Overbridge. It's gonna change the color. We can now listen to how it sounds. So, you probably won't hear the same sound, but because I have actually loaded my own sounds in it already. So you will hear the preset sounds, but more on that later. So, what we need to do is to separate each track to a different output in Ableton. And it's really easy. What you have to do is to create a new audio track, and we can rename it and call it Digi1. And we have to make 8 copies of it, because we have 8 different tracks, right? So a quick thing I learned when you're renaming is that if you press Ctrl R, you rename it. Then you can press the right arrow to come to the end. You can delete it, press the new number, and you can press Tab, and it just hops over. And then you can just go like this, get a rhythm. So now we need to route the audio from Overbridge to each track, and to do so we need to open the I/O panel, and it's over here. And here we have all the tracks. So I can take the audio from Overbridge, and here I can select what kind of audio I want. So I want just track 1. And if I play track 1 now, we can see it's coming in here, but we don't hear it, because we need to monitor it as well. And now we can see it's flowing. So what we need to do now is to mute the Overbridge one, because we don't want 2 sounds coming out at the same time. We just need 1. And there we have it. So now we just keep going to do this on all the other tracks. Now if we try and play, we can see that each track or each audio has its own audio in Ableton. And what I like to do is to take all of these, press 1, hold Shift, and press the last one, and press Ctrl G. And then you group them. So we can call this one Digitakt. So now we just have a simple single track or group just a simple group that plays all the Electron sounds, all the Digitakt sounds. So the last thing we're gonna do is to actually record something. So I can open this Digitakt again, and I can arm the tracks I want to record. And I want to record all tracks. And to record the armed tracks in Ableton, we have a nifty button up here, which is this circle here. And if we press it, it will start record all the tracks. So I'm just gonna make the tempo to what I enjoy. And since I already have something on the Digitakt, I can just record that straight in. You have to make a pattern or something, but we will come to that later. So I'm just gonna record this now. So once it's recorded, we got the files over here, and what we need to do now is to turn off the monitor to auto or off, and we can click the first one, shift click the last one, drag them, press tab, and we go into the timeline and we can drop them. We make sure we play this timeline. I'm gonna cut them, make them a little smaller, cut this last part here, and loop the first one. So what I did, a mistake here was to put the monitor on auto, because then if we don't play the clips, we can still hear it. So I'm gonna put them on off. So now the Digitakt doesn't play, we only hear the samples we recorded. So what's so good about this? Well, now when we have them straight into our Ableton recorded, we can start putting effects on them, we can manipulate them, we can add new stuff, we can, for example, record a new pattern and have different sections, and it's actually really easy to just record this or straight into your digital audio workstation. Later on in this series, we will talk about how you can use this opportunity to, in real time, add effects. For example, I can use a reverb from Ableton and add it straight to a snare that's playing on the Digitakt without recording. It's just doing it live, because we route the audio into Ableton, and then we have all the freedom of using a digital audio workstation. Last thing I want to show you before we end is actually to save this as a template, so we don't have to set up this every time we open Ableton or a new project. So how do we do it? Well, we make sure we delete this, because we don't want these files every time we open a project. So we make it nice. We can even remove the I/O panel just to keep it clean. And then we're gonna press, if you didn't know, full screen F11. So we go into File or Edit or Options and Preferences, and we can go into, where is it? Yeah, File and Folder, and here you have Save Current as default. If I press Save here, this is what will open every time I open a new project in Ableton. So let's try it. I save it, overwrite the default set, and let me open a new live set. And I don't have to save it. I can delete those. And you see, now when it's open a new project, we got straight into what we just set up. So, as you can see, we need to monitor it. And if you tweak it like this, we can just go straight into Preference again and save it as the default set. So we can always, change it. It's really nice. So that was everything for this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.